This project may have thrown a catch in our face last time, but after finding a matching one, we figured why not use them to get a better grip on the hood, as the factory units are nice and all, but that's a hard no. It's more than a bit ridiculous to have even needed to do this, but crazily, from a bunch of your personal experiences, it looks like we made the right choice. We're not actually done here though, so today let's finish this off and see what comes next. As things sit, we've got this 3D printed internal release handle hooked up to pop the new latches, and it works great. You open the factory ones as normal, pull this, and bippity boppity bonnet, up she goes. Perfect. There's been some debate as to whether or not we should have used solenoids instead, or even completely reworked things to make the factory latches pop the new ones. But I think we've got the best combo here, as these will keep us safer in a collision and from prying eyes, while the OGs pull the panels into proper alignment and reduce any chance of this. Or rather, they will once they've been adjusted. A few of you were wondering if it's even possible to override these latches in the event the cables fail, which would be a problem on any car. And yes, there is a way, we're just not going to show you it, as that would kind of defeat part of their purpose. So I'd say we're good to continue then, and to get started today, we just need to make a small revision. This handle works. We just witnessed that, but the design of the base makes it impossible to access the mounting bolt once the handle's installed. My bad. Plus, the attachment of the cables are simply less than ideal. Thankfully though, after swinging over to Fusion 360 to make the necessary corrections, I think we've got something workable. And with everything printed out, we just need to remove the support material to see what's what. Notice the mounting screw hole has been moved to a better position, and an alignment dowel that we didn't actually mention last time should keep the handle from twisting during use. Somehow a second bolt just felt overkill. Yeah, it's hard for me to believe too. These tiny parts are intended to clamp down on both cables by means of some small teeth and link them to the lever while remaining small enough to not add more bulk to the overall mechanism. Ambitious, wasn't I? The teeth have an interference fit with the cables, so when both halves are screwed together, in theory, they won't pull apart. You know what though? Let's test that. I thought it might have lasted a bit longer than that, but 10 pounds is still pretty decent. I think that ought to do it. I'd say with the changes here taken care of then, we just need to find a home for it. And for that, we need a bracket. Awesome. It's just a simple little bracket, but it gets our release lever mounted nicely and hopefully out of the way enough to avoid kicking as we lower ourselves into the cabin someday. It's all too easy to forget that we're working with an extra 14 inches of lift here. With the cables now cut down to size though, we've routed them as neatly as we could, connected them to the new plastic clamp, and all that's left is to cross our fingers that this works. So when I pull on this, perfect. So that is latched on both sides.
That is latched.
And then you just reach your arm inside there, give it a little pull, and like magic, up she goes. Just like it did earlier, but using the final design now. Thankfully, it's worked out exactly how I was hoping, and the only thing left to do is swap out these tiny temporary screws for some larger stainless ones. Plus, we may as well add some captive nuts while we're here, because, you know, me. Our new hardware is 8mm, as I somehow forgot that M7 was even a thing, but who cares? Bigger bolts are better, and a quick trip to the drill press takes the latches up to size. Good. The holes just need deburring next, and all the paint and surface rust can be removed for welding. Pro tip, it's best to remove the zinc coating on the nuts too, so you don't breathe in as many fumes, and the weld has the best chance of lasting. Or at least, that's what I hear, and we're gonna go with it. With the nuts carefully aligned and clamped in place then, let's burn them in for good. Right on. That's plenty good enough for what we need, and it should make assembly much more straightforward. The reason the latches got the captive nuts and not the brackets is so that we could maintain some lateral adjustment here to align all the components. When the whole car comes apart later for finishing, these will get painted or plated, but for now we'll pop it back in its little home, clip the cable in place, and confirm it still works. Beauty. That's better. There's 4 bolts holding this on here. The lower one we can get onto easily, but now that we got these new shorter bolts on the top, I can also get onto the top one. See, everything's for a reason. And with that, we're now finished the entire hood latching system, I'm very happy to say. It was not a small amount of work to tackle this feature that will be completely unnoticeable to anyone who hasn't watched these videos, but there you go. I'd do it all again and change nothing. Zip. Nada. I'm getting the feeling you want to change one more thing. Good. You're catching on. Yes, I'm my own worst enemy, as we could call it here, but those screws, they gotta go. They dimple the sheet metal around them, which leads to cracks in the paint eventually, and they just look, well, like penny pinching management's cost-effective solution to a problem that we can do better. I know. Here we go again. Interesting. In a departure from your typical garden variety captive nut plates, these captive studs will let us completely eliminate the 2 exposed screws holding on the handles, while the 3rd lower one, we'll just leave alone. It's hidden most of the time anyway. Now, much to my chagrin, all the parts here, including the hood, need a coat of weld-through primer next, which, as far as I'm concerned, is an awful product that comes off if you look at it wrong. But I am man enough to admit it still serves a purpose. It's just typical, right? While it's drying though, we need to make some slight changes to the OEM latches, as the distance the tabs step back to the sheet metal needs to be less now to account for the new studs. So we'll cut off one side first, clean up both edges, and clamp the latch to the fixture table with some shims so we can weld the part back on again. Just add a new offset. Simply a matter of rinsing, repeating for the other side next. You can hopefully make out the difference now between the original on the right and what we've just done on the left, which, when combined with the stud plate, will look something like this in the car. The plug weld holes in these plates should let us attach them snugly, and we'll even weld directly to the bolt heads through the factory screw holes to finish those off. All right, not too shabby. I'm really loving my new cordless grinders, and I think the results we've achieved with them are plenty adequate. Some seam sealer on the top 3 sides might be a good idea to keep moisture from sitting behind these tabs later though. Getting rid of those mounting screws has made a huge difference to the overall tidiness of the hood here, and I love it. But I am noticing a problem. The handle is sitting in too far at the top, which is tipping the base outwards and generally messing with the flow of the body. As much as I hate to say it, somehow I must have measured the offset of the mounting tabs wrong earlier, and we need to remove another 1/8 inch or so. It's got something to do with the curved surface of the hood, I'm pretty sure, but regardless, that sucks. This is how it should look. Much better, right? With a straight edge, you can see the handle sitting just past flush from top to bottom now, and all that was necessary was to cut off the tabs and weld them on again. Yeah, well, what can you do? Deja vu. Anyway, this time we've got it perfect, so let's finish off the passenger side and call this whole thing done.
That's the game.
Beautiful. That's what I like to see. Clean, simple, and just a touch of OEM plus. You know, like the rest of the project. Oh, come on. I meant the body, clearly. Jeez. With that taken care of, though, we've now got a finished hood latching system. All of it. It's done. Pop the external ones as factory, pull the internal release, and voila! One extra step, and I feel much more comfortable having this in place and behind us now. Once it's all painted, I don't think the captive stud tabs will be too out of place, and speaking of paint, we also opened up the hole here just a bit so the latch no longer hits and chips the edge, because as you can probably tell from the tape, it's been doing that for some time now. That's it then. We're done. This step. What's next? Ah, the pedal assembly. Okay, I thought we were done with that, but maybe there's some... Nope, okay, the AC core is coming out too. And the gas pedal. And the entire steering column. What the heck's going on? Oh! Dearie me, yes, of course. Quite a lot of the firewall is just tacked in place still. Grab a sandwich then. We've got a lot to do. Well, told you it'd be a bit of work. Some of those angles were not what I consider fun at all, and I guess that's why I put it off this long. But thankfully, it's done now, and we had just, and I mean just, enough welding gas to finish. The very same rust converter that's been protecting the whole body for years can also be applied to this framing now, and it doesn't take long to turn this lovely shade of purple and black, indicating it's done its job. Unlike the weld-through primer, I absolutely love this stuff, and while I'm not affiliated, I mean, rust check. If you wanted to help us out. After a couple of days of curing, we popped the front chassis brackets back in their homes, and this car is looking much more finished, I'm glad to say. I've said it before, but it's honestly been so much more work than I was ever intending, and over the years, one thing has just led to another, and here we are, teetering on the brink of madness. But, I mean, at least it's not like we built custom gauges. That would be just ridiculous.
And I love it.
I'm hoping we can avoid that ourselves, to be honest, but in the meantime, at least we can cross a couple more items off our to-do list. Thanks for watching. And a very special thanks to the amazing patrons, supers, donators, and subscribers who all support our shenanigans. If you're interested in helping out, there are links in the description below, including a share button. So until next time, keep building. We'll catch you later.
Okay, get serious.